Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oops. Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Ram, Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Ram. Oh, that's one now.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Okay, right. Ram. Hare. Hare Hare Hare. Ram. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare Hare. Ram. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Hare Hare. Ram. I think number 3, where you are, you should turn it a little because my face is a little forward. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare. Right. And there's something else I need to tell you about that later, when we finish. I spoke with,
Yeah.
yeah. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Hare Hare. Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Yes. It's not going to turn off again. But where did you change? You don't know where. Well, if you show, oh no, you can't. Otherwise, you have done it many times. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Yes, yes, Hari, Hari. Hari. Got it? It should be infinite, right? There's a setting for infinite. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Image review. What? Boy. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, 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 Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Shri Krishna, Shri Hari, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Ram, Ram, Krishna, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram.
something.
Oh, okay. It's nice. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Hari, 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 Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Hari Ram, Hari Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Hari, 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 Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Hari, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram Ram Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram 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 Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari Hari Ram Ram Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari Hari Ram Ram Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari 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 Ram 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 Hari Hari Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Ram Ram 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 Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Ram Ram Hari Hari Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari Hari. Has Satchikamar Prabhu, has any message been sent out to the English-speaking devotees about the Brihad Bhagavatamrita? Oh, okay. Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Hari Krishna Krishna Ram Ram Hari Hari Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Japa Shri Brhad Hare Gaur. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram. Ram Ram Hari Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari Hari, Ram Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Ram Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Ram Hari Ram, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari Hari, Ram Hari Ram, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Ram Hari Ram, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Hari, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Ram Hari Ram, Ram Ram Hari Ram Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Ram Ram Hari, Ram Ram Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari Hari, Ram Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari Hari, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari Hari, Ram Hari Ram, Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari Hari, Ram Ram, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Ram Hari Ram, Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari, Krishna Hari Ram Hari Ram, Ram Ram Hari, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram Hari Hari, Krishna, Krishna. Hari Ram, Hari Ram. Krishna, Krishna. Hari Ram, Hari Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari. Ram, 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 Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, 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 Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, 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 oh, interesting. We can adjust the cameras because yeah, I'll see what we can do. Because this one, I don't know if you've noticed, Giriraj looks really dark. Did you see that? Well, I can try and do it here. Because you can do it for each camera in the software. Yeah. Well, let's just see if what I can do. If here we are, camera. So camera one. That's it. What does this do? Oh, I see. Of course, you can't see it. You can just see the controls.
Oh.
See, now it's two. But we can. No, we can't. Oh, we need a proper monitor where you can see all of them. Which, I don't know. We'd need to get another
External
something, yeah.
You want me to change it manually, Maharaj?
See if you can. We'll have a look and you'll see he looks very dark. Ram, Ram, Hari. Yes. Ram, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Yes. Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram 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 Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram 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 Hari Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Hari Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Hari Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Hari
Why don't you use also lock this? I don't know. But I did zoom in a bit more. Hopefully that helps.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's see if we can do something. You just stand there, and I'll make some adjustments.
Will it show on this camera?
Sure will. Let's see now. You see some difference there? No. Oh, it made significant difference.
I did zoom in. Because it was like that before.
It's just, you zoomed in, yeah, that helps. But now I have, it should,
Can you tell me anything about how to do exactly?
oops. No, no, it should, it doesn't seem to have done anything. But I've definitely made major changes. Hare Krishna. And I can zoom.
Oh, which camera is it? Camera.
No, it's what? Number one. But, oh, I have to wait for it to come around. It didn't do anything, did it?
It's on the maximum. I don't know if it's full to camera.
Okay. Anyway, don't worry. Right. Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna, Ram, 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 Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, yes, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari, 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 Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Ram, 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 Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Ram. Yeah, okay. You need one of their cameras to be able to control it. So it's just
Black magic camera.
yeah. Right. Oh, and you got to do a different connection.
Wi-Fi.
It's SDI. It's not. It's better than HDMI. Anyway, sorry. Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, 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 Hari, Hari, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari. If you go to the shooting, try shooting menu, shooting, right? There's a shooting menu, right?
Doesn't say shooting. Oh, okay. Yeah, shooting and display.
Okay. Preset manual. Ram, Ram, Hari. Got preset manual. Ram, Ram, Hari. Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Sagri, Ishri Janavi. Gokuleshri, thank you for the nice lunch. preset manual.
I don't see no option.
Ram, Ram.
No, I don't see an option.
No, okay. Ram, Hari. Ram, Hari. Okay, anyway, you can do some research.
What's it called?
White balance.
Oh, yeah.
So Nikon Z6. Ram, Ram, Ram. You may have to put it in manual. Anyway, we'll worry about it afterwards. Yeah, because we got to look at it. I got to look at it. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram. Ram, Hari. Ram, 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 Hari. Ram, 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 Hari. Ram, 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 Hari. Ram, 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 Hari, Ram. Yeah, you have to be in manual. Yeah,
Manual focus.
manual mode.
Oh.
Well, manual everything. Well, not focus, but ISO, aperture, these things. Ram, 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 Hare Ram, Chaitanya, Shiva, Hare Ram, 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 Ram. Yeah, it's all here. You got to be in P, S, A, or M modes. Ram, 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 Hare Ram, Hari Ram, Hari Ram, 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 Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Yes. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari. Krishna, Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari, Hari. Ram, 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 Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, Hari, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Ram. Uh, the class is at 6. No, no, we'll just carry on. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari, Hari. Ram, 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 Hari, Hari. Ram Ram Hari Hari. Krishna Krishna. Ram Ram. Ram Ram Hari. Ram Ram Hari Hari Krishna Hari. Krishna Krishna Hari Hari. Ram Ram Hari Hari. Ram Ram Hari Hari. Ram 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 Hari. Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari. Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Hari. Ram 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 Hari. Ram 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 Hari Hari Hari. Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari. Hari Hari Hari. Ram 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 Hari Ram 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 Hari Ram 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 Hari Ram Ram. Yeah, when I start the class, you should take this away in case it rings. Not now, but when we begin the class.
I can also put it on silent mode. I can also put it on silent mode.
Well, yeah, but something important might come through, maybe. If it appears to you, just show such a command. Rama, Rama, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari. Rama, 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 Hari, Rama, 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 Ram, 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 Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Shobhi Kishori, Devi Dasi, Haribol. Ranveer Kumar Kevat. Bharati, oh Bharati, Hare Krishna Bharati. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari. Ram, 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 Ram. Hari Ram, Hari Ram. Jai Brajarani, Hari Bol. Ishvari Kripa, Gauranga. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Ram, 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 Hari Ram, 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 Hari, Ram, 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 Ram. That's maximum zoom, yeah? 200. Ram, 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 Ram. Okay. Ram, Ram, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari, Ram, 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 Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Ram, 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 Hari, Hari, Ram, 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 Rama, 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 Hare Rama, 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 yes.
Are you trying to fix it?
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Chaitanya, Sri Advaita, Hare Krishna, Rama, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, 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 Hare Hare Rama, 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 Rama. Oh, it's my chair, black chairs. Oh boy, that's good. I tell you. because this one, it's not, it's hard to sit on. I mean, it's just almost like a piece of board. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 Hari, ram, ram, Hari, Hari, ram, ram, ram. Oh, a Vashan. Oh, he did. That's nice. That was a Vashan, was it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Ram, ram, Hari, Hari, ram, ram, ram. Good bottle. What's a different one? Favorite. It's nice. Ram, ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Ram, ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, 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 Krishna, Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Hari. Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, 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 Hari. Ram, Ram. Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Ram, 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 Hari, Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Srislava Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Viraj.
Jai Ho Giriraj.
So, sound check, Lega.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, the microphones?
You want to use it?
I think we have. Well, I don't know. How is it now?
I can give you my microphone.
Let me ask someone
Yeah.
who is here.
The classes we use microphones. Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari.
Дорогие преданные, кто сейчас в зуме, пожалуйста, скажите или напишите.
Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari.
Вот как сейчас Гуру Махарадж читает Джапу.
Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari.
Если вас
Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari.
Звук отличный.
Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram. Yeah, okay, just plug it in. Just plug it in. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Okay, Haribol, Instagram. See you later. Uvidam Saporsha. Okay, so we just changed the microphone. How's the microphone?
Так, произошла смена микрофона.
Чуть-чуть погромче. Слишком. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari.
Да, вот мне пишут преданные, и нам группа Ксении пишут то, что меня слышно плохо. Гуру Махарадж, тогда вам чуть-чуть потише нужно сделать себя.
Сейчас.
Да, пожалуйста, чуть-чуть тише. Не слишком много, чуть-чуть. 10% попробуйте.
Okay, вот. Может быть, 10-15.
Ага.
Харе Кришна, Харе Кришна, Кришна, Кришна. Харе, 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 Рам, Харе, Рам. Рам, Рам, Харе, 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 Кришна, Харе.
Я ему мешаю.
Кришна, Кришна, Харе, 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 Рам, Харе, Рам. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Hari.
Ага.
Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Отлично, да?
Да, пожалуйста, так оставьте.
Так оставь. All right. All righty. Ram, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Rukmini, Priya, Devi, Dasi, Haribol. I'm waiting for some of your dal. Natalia. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, God. Ram, Ram, Hare, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare, 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare, 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. Oh, it's not this again. Ram, Ram, Hare, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. You gotta learn this.
I'm not at the moment.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. There we are.
And then what's the possible name?
Radhanasa.
With a capital R.
Yeah. 1408. But you got to connect that because we should start.
Is it this like that?
Exactly. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna. Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Ram, Hari, Ram. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari. Okay. Hare Krishna. No. You should put it on
While it's streaming.
real tech.
Okay.
Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari, Hari. Krishna, Hari. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hari. Ram, Hari. Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Okay, thank you, Rukmini Priya. So, devotees, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita Ki Jai, Srila Sandton Goswami Ki Jai. Okay. We begin. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestha Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastya Chadesh Tarne Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyevacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So devotees, we're beginning this evening a seminar on Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Srila Sanatana Goswami, which has translation and purports by His Grace Gopi Puranadana Prabhu and his team. So we're going to go through the whole book. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how long it'll take. But anyway, at least we'll make a good start and we'll really get into the book. It's a very important book, and it's a very beautiful and very amazing book. So let us begin. Let us begin. First of all, with an introduction, some historical background. What is this book? Where does it come from? How has it come to be? Behind this great book, amazing book. So the story goes like this, that Brihad Bhagavatamrita is basically the main nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam. Ultimately, it is spoken basically by Maharaj Parikshit immediately after he heard Srimad Bhagavatam. Immediately after. There are some sort of subtleties and some points there also. But ultimately, it's Maharaj Parikshit. So what happened? What happened is that, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam was recited by Srila Shukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. And at the end, the snake bird came and bit Maharaj Parikshit, and he passed away. However, as with many things in Krishna consciousness and with many things in life, it's not quite that simple. It's not that the snake bird just suddenly appeared out of nowhere and bit him, and that was it, that was the end. No, what happened was that Maharaj Parikshit, having heard Srimad Bhagavatam, and before the snake bird came, Maharaj Parikshit was approached by his mother Uttara, who asked him, what have you been hearing? What is the essence of the message that you've just heard? Can you please explain? I think it must have been really something very special and really something really amazing. So, Maharaj Parikshit, having finished hearing the Bhagavatam, he saw his mother sitting one side crying and lamenting because she understood that the 7 days of the curse was not just let the snake bird come and kill him, but after 7 days. So Uttara, the mother, she understood, it was clear to everyone that now her son, Parikshit Maharaj, just now. He's going to be passing away. Just now. It's not going to be long at all. So therefore she was upset, naturally upset as a very loving mother. So she was sitting there and lamenting, and Parikshit saw her there, crying, shedding tears of pain. And naturally, as a mother, she was very much aggrieved. So Maharaj Parikshit consoled his mother, Uttara, by saying to her, why are you lamenting? Now that I've received knowledge from my spiritual master, I've become completely free from all material influence and fear, lamentation, material attachment, or all of these things, which normally everyone, of course, on the material platform is controlled by and limited by. So there's nothing to worry about, because death's going to come to everyone, and it's going to come to me, and it's going to come to you, and it's just going to come to everyone. So generally, of course, the people lament, and it's such a sad situation. But now I'm ready. I'm completely ready. And I feel blessed. I really feel extremely blessed to have gotten this mercy from Srila Shukadev Goswami, such a great and special soul. So Uttara said, if it's so special, can you tell me, at least briefly, in essence, what is this nectar that you've heard from your spiritual master, Shukadev Goswami? What is this nectar? At least, what is the main part? What's the real message, which is there, the heart of the subject matter? So then, Parikshit Maharaj spoke to her Brihad Bhagavatamrita. This is what happened. And Brihad means great. I think so many of us have heard the term before, Brihad Mridanga, the great Mridanga. Prabhupada said the printing press producing so many transcendental literatures, books, that's the Brihad Mridanga. A regular Mridanga is heard just in the local vicinity, but the books, they can just go all over the whole world very easily. So, and the impact they have, because there's so much logic and reason and clarity, that the essence of the message, and therefore it deeply affects people. That's the Brihad Mridanga, the big Mridanga, the printing press and the books that come from the printing press. So Brihad means great, big or great, and Bhagavatam, or Bhagavat is the Srimad Bhagavatam, but this is now Bhagavatamrita. Amrita, of course, means nectar, and it's the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the great nectar of the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what this book is, Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And Because what it does, obviously we'll explain as we go, but it takes the main themes, the most essential, the main themes of Srimad Bhagavatam and elaborates on them. Many things which are not exactly the main parts, the real essence, the most essential nectar, which everything else is leading up to. So the other things which lead up to that main essential nectar, they're not so much discussed. I mean, there's discussion, but it's more in the sense of very specifically pointing us to what is the main essence and the main nectar. In Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, the 10th canto is the main essence, certainly. But all the other cantos, it's not as clear how in the other cantos, at least so many parts of the other cantos, not all actually, but so many parts, it's much more difficult to see how all those other parts are just leading us to that one part, the nectar, the essence. It's definitely more difficult. But in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it's a lot clearer. It's just really clear. What is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam? So therefore, what is Brihad Bhagavatamrita? It is Maharaj Parikshit giving his understandings and realizations of what is the best part of what he has heard, Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the best part? What is the meaning that we got to get out of it all? Yes, so that's interesting, isn't it? From a sort of historical point of view, that's the background of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So now it's written by Srila Sanatana Goswami, and it's very interesting. Srila Sanatana Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, the most senior, the oldest at least, most senior, although Srila Rupa Goswami is generally understood to be the leader and even the most important. But Sanatana Goswami is definitely by age the senior, and Rupa Goswami accepted him as one of his spiritual masters, like a Siksha Guru. Of course, the initiating spiritual master of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami was Lord Chaitanya himself. Yes, but like right in the beginning of Nectar of Devotion, there is what is called the Mangala Charana. Mangala means auspicious, and Charana or Charan, as we, I think, more often pronounce it, means feet. So Mangala Charana means the auspicious feet, the blessed feet of the literature. means the beginning of the literature, which is establishing very nicely how wonderful the literature is. We will go into the Mangala Charana of Brihad Bhagavatamrita just in a little while. I am assuming we'll go into it this evening, because we're going to go on. You know, we're going to do this program every day, barring, unless there's some special things going on, and because I'm, my role now in service in the GBC body and the executive committee is, much more demanding now. So, but we'll do it. Some days you never know, there may be some challenges, but otherwise 7 days a week, we are going to do this. We're going to do this. So anyway, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatan Goswami says that he says that he did not actually write it. He just held a pen on a piece of paper, and someone else was moving his hand and moving the pen, and that's how the book became produced. And who was that? Well, of course, that was his Ishtadeva, his particular worshipable deity, the particular form of Lord Krishna. Of course, Krishna is his worshipable deity, Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna. But amongst the different forms of Krishna, the particular form of Krishna that Srila Sanatan Goswami focused on was Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan. Yes, he worshipped Madan Mohan, the actual deity. And Madan Mohan is his, we call it a deva, specific form of the Lord upon whom he meditates and is focused and is following and serving. So yes, he said like that I just held the pen, and then my hand started moving, and it was Madan Mohan. And then this is brought out even further by the fact that, it's just a very interesting, intriguing point, that Srila Sanatan Goswami, not only did he write Brihad Bhagavatamrita, but he wrote purports. He wrote a commentary on, you might say, his own book. But he didn't really see it like that. He saw it as being the book of Sri Madan Mohan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his Ishtadeva. He saw it as being his book, and therefore it didn't seem contradictory to write a commentary on his own book. You follow the idea, just like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada translated and wrote purports on so many books, as we all know very well, like the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam itself, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He did Nectar of Devotion as a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yeah. So, and for Prabhupada, for example, with Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna. So Prabhupada translated, and for the sake of clarity, he wrote purports. And no one will think that there's something unusual about Srila Prabhupada writing purports to the book which has actually been produced by someone else. It's just, it's just quite normal that people may, qualified people may do commentaries on different important literature. So in that sense, if we take it that this is Madan Mohan's book, and Sanatana Goswami is basically more or less being just like a scribe, you could say, just someone who's just recording things which are coming from other people, then for him to do purports is natural. That there's nothing unusual about it at all, completely natural. And indeed, I'm sure we would, at least if we understand the importance of Prabhupada's purports, in the sense that he said that the verses, they're not so important, but what is important are his purports. Because without the purports, how are you going to understand the verses, as well as much as they need to be understood? Our understanding, because generally we're not qualified in such extremely, supremely deep subject matters. If it's just up to us to figure out and understand what is the meaning of this verse and that verse and these great literatures, then obviously there's so much room for us to misunderstand, make mistakes, not understand completely or clearly, and so on like that. So in that sense, Srila Sanatana Goswami, for him to write purports on what you could say is his own book, in that sense, it's not something strange. And I can also mention that the 6 Sandarbhas of Srila Jiva Goswami, they're vast, they're even much bigger. If you put them all together, they're much bigger even than Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is not a small book. But Jiva Goswami wrote a commentary on his 6 Sandarbhas. He wrote commentaries on each one. Same type of idea. So, he said, Sanatana Goswami felt there was a need for further explanation and clarification, because in the course of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we'll see, assuming we reach the end, we'll see that a very major part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita is pointing out how some very great devotees are not the greatest devotees, that there are other devotees who are greater, and even other devotees who are much greater. So he says, let me just read what he says. He says, how could I dare to enter into Krishna's inner chamber of his palace and judge who is a greater devotee than another. And in order to judge who is a greater devotee, you need to find defects and faults in the devotional service of Krishna's eternal associates, like Rukmini, Satyabhama, and Uddhava. I mean, who could do that? Who can do that? Point out defects in Rukmini, Satyabhama, Uddhava, and others. You know, this is just, we can't do that. And Sanatana Goswami, having written in such ways to point out these things, to bring out the greatness of other devotees, ultimately the gopis of Vrindavan, he was feeling, taking it in the sense that it's his book, in that sense. He felt the need to give further elaboration when he had finished, to avoid, you know, the appearance of being critical and criticizing like that, which we cannot do. Particularly with devotees like that, we cannot do with so many devotees, at least from our position. Okay, so yes, so therefore the purpose of Brihad Bhagavatamrita is to give the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. I think that's sort of, we've made that point sufficiently. So the Vedas are compared to a kalpa vriksha, a wish-fulfilling tree. And the ripened fruit of that wish-fulfilling tree is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, that ripened fruit has been blended with the nectar from the mouth of Shukadev Goswami. So it's just super nectar. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, the idea is that Shukadev Goswami has further digested and blended the nectar which is naturally there in the Bhagavatam with his lotus lips as the shuka, as the parrot. He has added nectar. You know, the idea, you probably all heard, the idea is that the parrot, when the parrot bites a fruit, somehow or other, who knows how it happens, but somehow or other, the fruit becomes sweeter through having been bitten by the parrot. So Srimad Bhagavatam in and of itself is already just simply nectar, but now having been spoken, or you could say tasted by the mouth, by the lips of Shukadev Goswami, it's become even more nectarian. And now the essence of that nectar, Parikshit is giving to his mother, Uttara. Yes, right. So that's Brihad Bhagavatamrita. However, just like, you know, I am well aware that Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken by Shukadev to Maharaj Parikshit, but the way that it's presented is that Suta Goswami, who was there when Shukadev spoke to Parikshit, Suta Goswami then came and spoke to the sages in Naimisharanya, and therefore our Srimad Bhagavatam is Suta Goswami reciting the conversation of Shukadev and Parikshit. So here in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the same principle applies in that Jaimini, a great rishi, had been present there when Parikshit spoke Brihad Bhagavatamrita to his mother Uttara. Jaimini had been there. And so now Jaimini, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, is Jaimini reciting the conversation of Parikshit with Uttara to the son of Parikshit, named Janmejaya. Janmejaya is the son of Parikshit, who then became the king after his departure, after Parikshit's departure. So, the circumstances under which Jaimini spoke to Janmejaya, the circumstances are that Jaimini had spoken Mahabharat to Janmejaya. And at the end, Janmejaya asked him, "Is there more? Can you tell me more? This is real nectar. I'd really like to hear more. Can you sort of explore the subject matter deeply?" Mahabharat. And then Jaimini said, "Okay, let me now speak Brihad Bhagavatamrita to you." Now, I hope that's not too confusing, all these different persons. We will talk a little bit more about it as we go on. All right. So, devotees, now we're going to discuss the structure, what is discussed and how, like the sequence particularly of how it's discussed in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Right. So first point is, now this is very much an overview, what I'm going to say now. Brihad Bhagavatamrita is divided into two parts. The first part is called Purva. Purva basically means preliminary. Just like, well, you might not be familiar with it so much, but with the gopis, before they actually met Krishna, they had heard about him. And hearing about him, because those topics are just so amazing, so attractive and overwhelming, actually. So the gopis, before they actually met Krishna, they heard about him, and this awoke what's called Purva Raga. Raga means attraction or attachment, and Purva, we just said, means preliminary. So just from hearing about Krishna, they developed Purva Raga, or a preliminary attachment or attraction to him, even though they hadn't met him or seen him. That's Purva Raga. So the first part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita is called Purva, or preliminary, and the second is called Uttara. And Uttara basically just means final, the final part. So these are two parts, and they're quite distinct from each other. The first part, the Purva part, is the story of Narada Muni trying to figure out who has received the greatest mercy from Lord Krishna. Is it this person, or another person? And Narada Muni, in the course of trying to understand who got the most mercy, who got the most nectar, mercy really is the particular idea, particular term. So in the course of trying to figure that out, Narada Muni is told by, well, he how to put it? It's slightly complicated. So he is instructed to go and visit someone because that person has the most mercy. But he is instructed to go and visit that person by the person who previously he had been told had got the most mercy. But then he discusses with that, the first person who he was told has got the most mercy. He goes and tells him, oh, you've got so much mercy in this way, in that way, in various ways. But then that person tells him, no, you don't understand. I haven't got mercy. I'm just, my position is nothing special at all. These are devotees, so they're very, very humble. And each one, when Narada comes and tells them that you've got the most mercy, each one denies it. No, I haven't. I got no mercy. And then they say, you want to meet someone who really got the mercy? Go to some other person. And Narada goes to that person and tells that person, you got the mercy. You got the most mercy in this way and that, and in different ways. It's you. You are the greatest recipient of the mercy of the Lord. But then that devotee, of course, who is very humble, says, no. Yeah, this is how the first part goes. One after another. You got the most mercy. No, I haven't. You want to meet who's the person who's got the most mercy? Go to such and such. And off goes Narada. And then it repeats like that. So that's the first part. And in the course of going from person to person and being directed by each person to the next one who's on a higher level, in the course of that, Narada Muni, he goes to, well, there are 7 chapters, which, basically means, it's not entirely like that always, but it basically means he goes to 7, there's 7 levels, there are more than 7, but each chapter is dealing with a particular level, and one after the other, the levels become higher, chapter after chapter. Although in some chapters, there's, more than just one person on one level, there may be a couple or so. And in this way, Narada Muni, he begins on the earthly level on this planet Earth. And he meets a couple of people, and what I mentioned happened. First of all, let me just tell you. First of all, he meets a grihasta, a wealthy grihasta devotee, who comes with his entourage and performs an offering, a boga offering, then arti, to his Shila, his Shalagram Shila. And Narada Muni's watching this, thinking, look at this, see how this person got the mercy. And he goes up to him after the puja and says, you've got the greatest mercy. You are the recipient of the Lord's greatest mercy. And that wealthy householder says, no, 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 no. And he points out how, from his perspective, in his humility, he feels there are different things wrong with him and wrong with his situation. And so then he says, if you want to meet someone who really got the mercy, there is a king in South India, and he really got the mercy because, and he explains different reasons why he feels that king in South India got much more mercy than him, maybe like the most mercy that anyone got, anyone on any level. And Narada goes there to the king and sees, wow, look at the mercy he got. And he tells the king, oh, you got the mercy in this way and that. And the king says, what does he say? No, 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 no. And he explains that he didn't get the mercy. And he directs Narada to someone else. So we start on planet Earth. Then we go to the heavenly planets, the higher planets. And there's a couple of levels, few levels there. Lord Indra, Lord Brahma. And yeah. And then beyond, in the third chapter, so first chapter is earthly, second chapter is heavenly, third chapter is going beyond the material world. Then fourth chapter is devotee in the spiritual realm. Then fifth chapter, higher in the spiritual realm. Sixth chapter, even higher. And seventh chapter is those who have received the complete mercy, actually. The residents of Goloka. Yeah. This way, Narada Muni says that actually these residents of Goloka, they have got more mercy than anyone else. And that's it. That's it. They have actually got the most mercy. So that's just a very brief outline of the first part. Let me give you a very brief outline of the second part. The second part is the story of Gopakumar. Many of you, even if you haven't read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, but I think many of you have heard of Gopakumar because the word is out that Gopakumar is such a special person. So the first part, we just said, Narada's looking for the recipient of the greatest mercy of the Lord. Second part, it's related, but it's different. What he wants is not actually even what he wants, but what he does. He's a cowherd boy from Govardhan Hill, and he wants to go back to Godhead, and he does. He goes back to Godhead, step by step. He goes back to Godhead, back to Goloka Vrindavan, and meets Krishna and becomes part of Krishna's entourage in Goloka Vrindavan as a cowherd boy. But he begins. Part of the second part is, what is the highest place? Then, what is the highest level of devotional service? The most glorious level of devotional service and the most glorious place. So just like Narada goes from place to place, going higher and higher in his quest, so Gopakumar also goes from place to place in his quest for the highest place. He's looking for the highest place. And other places which by our standards are high, after a while he feels, no, this place is not the highest. I don't want to stay here. Even when he goes to Vaikuntha, first of all he thinks, wow, this is really high. I think I reached the highest place. But after a while he realizes, I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied fully. There must be something higher. So like this, he goes through different stages. The way it's described, it's more different, like types of activity going higher. So it begins with renunciation. Then comes knowledge, second chapter. Then third chapter, devotional service begins. Fourth chapter, Vaikuntha, devotional service in Vaikuntha. Then the fifth chapter, devotional service even on a level higher than Vaikuntha. Then the sixth chapter, actually, there are 7 chapters, both the first and second part. Each one has 7 chapters. But in the 6th chapter, in the second part, he reaches the ultimate abode. He arrives in Goloka Vrindavan. He meets Krishna. And he goes through many of the pastimes of Krishna, which are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's fully satisfied, completely satisfied. So it all comes to the climax then, in that sense, in the 6th chapter, not the 7th chapter, which was the case in the first part. The 7th chapter, well, it's mainly explanation, a lot of explanation of how these things work. So there you have it, devotees. There you have it. That's an introduction to Brihad Bhagavatamrita, explaining the background and a bit about how Sanatana Goswami read it and what it is, how it came about, and how it's structured, what's discussed. So tomorrow we will go on. We'll stop here, but tomorrow we'll go on to the first chapter And first of all, we will go through the Mangala Charana. There is a Mangala Charana of Brihad Bhagavatamrita also. Setting the scene, glorifying, pointing out what the book's about, glorifying different people and the process like this. So we'll go on to all of that tomorrow, same time, same place. So we will see you tomorrow evening. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.